Most people are familiar with the Seitzei in the beginning of this week's parsha, but not many are familiar with the Seitzei in the middle of this week's parsha, which perhaps is even more significant for us than the first half. Seitzei machane al oivecha. There's a list of halachos, of requirements, of what to do when a company, when a unit goes out to the battlefield. The importance of making sure that despite being in the heat of the battle, and despite the fact that as a result you let your guard down and distractions will certainly arise and different things in the camp potentially can occur, make sure that that camp is holy. Why? Ki Hashem Elokecha mishalech b'kerev machanecha. Kadosh Baruch Hu is with you. He's not simply a mahalech. It's not that God is just traveling side by side or watching us as we go along or just providing an escort. Mishalech b'kerev machanecha. God is with each and every one of us. If God's presence is there in the heat of war, then we have to make sure that our machane is holy. And if that is a requirement for soldiers in the heat of battle, how much more so is it for each and every one of us in our communities and in our homes? We know, for example, the dangers presented by the smartphone. We know how it spiritually can rip families apart, affect our souls terribly. We know neurologically what it can do. V'haya machanecha kadosh reminds us that if we want to have homes, families, relationships that endure, we have to be judicious and disciplined in how we use technology. And we even know V'haya machanecha kadosh applies on an ethical level as well. At the end of this week's parsha, we're told about the prohibition against using false weights and measures. And the language that the Torah uses to describe the prohibition, to introduce the prohibition, is striking. Lo yiyeh bebeischa efa va'efa. These measures and false weights shouldn't be in your home. Notice that it doesn't say don't use false measures, even that's the focus, but it shouldn't even enter into your home, because if you're building a home filled with Kedusha, then there's no reason for it to be present. Nothing inappropriate should be in our homes. Our homes should be a bastion of Kedusha, a place where people can radiate in the serenity and the peace and quiet of a beautiful home built on Torah and mitzvos. Our job is to make sure that that home remains as such all the time. And when that home, when our communities model real Kedusha, then we will truly feel Ki Hashem Elokecha mishalech b'kerev machanecha. Have a wonderful Shabbos.